What if one small light could lead you home? The evening mist settled over the village, clinging to the cobblestone streets like a soft, damp blanket. A young woman named Ilara walked alone, her footsteps echoing softly in the quiet air. The moon, a shy sliver in the sky, offered little comfort. Each window she passed was dark, each door closed, as if the whole world had gone to sleep without her. She had come to this village chasing a dream, a whisper of a promise that she could become a great artist. But now, the colors seemed to have faded from her world, leaving only shades of gray. Her heart felt as heavy as the unshaded rain in the clouds above. Where had the passion gone? The vibrant images that once danced in her mind were now just faint, ghostly outlines. She felt lost, a tiny boat adrift on a vast, starless sea, far from any shore she recognized as home. It was in this moment of quiet despair that she saw it. Resting by an old rotund gate was a lantern. It wasn't grand or ornate, just a simple thing made of dark metal and glass. But it held a soft, warm light. The flame inside flickered gently, a steady, golden heartbeat in the encroaching darkness. It seemed to pulse with a life of its own, casting a welcoming glow on the weathered stones and dukes leaves nearby. Ilara felt an inexplicable pull towards it, a strange sense of familiarity. The light didn't just illuminate the path. It seemed to reach out and touch her, warming the chill that had settled deep in her bones. It was a comforting presence in the lonely night, a silent companion that didn't ask questions or offer advice, but simply was. As she drew closer, the light seemed to brighten, as if in greeting. For the first time all evening, a small, fragile sense of peace began to bloom in her chest. She reached out, her fingers hesitating for a moment before closing around the cool metal handle. The lantern was surprisingly light, and as she lifted it, the flame inside danced, casting lively shadows that seemed to whisper on the wind. It was a language she couldn't understand with her ears, but her heart heard it clearly. "Follow me." There was no command in the silent invitation, only a gentle suggestion, a promise of something more than the lonely path she was on. A flicker of curiosity, an emotion she hadn't felt in a long time, sparked within her. Where would it lead? She had no map, no destination, but holding this small, steady light, she no longer felt the need for one. Trusting the strange impulse, she took a step, then another, letting the lantern guide her away from the familiar village streets and into the unknown. The path the lantern led her on was one she had never walked before. It wound through ancient trees whose branches formed a canopy overhead, the moonlight filtering through in silver streams. The air was filled with the scent of damp earth and night-blooming jasmine. With each step, the light from the lantern would fall upon something new, moss-covered stone. A delicate spiderweb shimmering with dew, a cluster of tiny, sleeping flowers. And with each new sight, a memory would surface in Ilara's mind. She remembered the joy of her first box of paints, the smell of turpentine and linseed oil, the thrill of creating something from nothing. She recalled a sunny afternoon spent sketching in a field of wildflowers, the feeling of the sun on her back and the hum of bees in the air. These were small, forgotten moments, pieces of herself she thought she had lost along the way. The lantern wasn't just lighting the path ahead. It was illuminating the path within. The trail began to ascend, and soon she found herself on a small, grassy hill overlooking the village. Below, the houses were dark, sleeping shapes, but from this vantage point, she could see the entire valley bathed in the gentle light of the rising moon. The world looked different from up here, peaceful, vast, and full of possibility. The wind whispered through the tall grass, carrying the distant sound of a lone cricket's song. Ilara set the lantern down, its golden glow mingling with the silver moonlight. She looked at the light, then at the sprawling landscape, and finally, she looked within herself. The journey up the hill hadn't been long, but it had carried her miles from the despair she felt just a short while ago. The path hadn't led her to a grand destination, but to a new perspective. Standing on that hill, under the immense starry sky, Ilara understood. Her dreams weren't gone. They hadn't abandoned her. They were like the stars, temporarily hidden by the clouds of doubt and exhaustion, but always there, waiting to be seen again. She had been searching for a grand sign, a loud voice to tell her what to do. But all she needed was a small, steady light to remind her of the light she carried within herself. The passion for her art, the joy of creation, it was all still there, waiting patiently for her to find her way back. The village below was no longer a place of failure, but a canvas, waiting for her to fill it with color once more. Her home wasn't a place, but a feeling, the feeling of being true to herself. Hope is a quiet light that always finds you, even in the darkest of nights. It doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's just a flicker, a gentle warmth that guides you back to yourself. Remember to look for it and to cherish it when you find it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more peaceful English lessons.